Welcome back everyone, and today we're at the Monroe mine. We have quite a bit to look at. The first thing we're going to look at is that old mill. Going up the mountain, there's a bunch of mines. Over that way is a waste rock pile with what looks like the remnants of an ore chute. And then on this side, there's even more mines and remains. So we have quite a lot of mines. So let's get into it and have a look around. Wasn't too big of a mill, just a small one. An old barrel and a washout. There really isn't anything too much to look at in terms of the mill, but everything else is going to be packed with stuff. So we'll real quickly look at this and then move on. An old barrel and a tire. This is the bottom level. Then looking up. This mill is so old. All the wood and everything, it's just rotten away. It's all gone. A little bit of metal. Got some wood right there that's just all disintegrated. Looking up, this is the top level of the mill. There really isn't a lot left. So we'll go have a look at everything else. The mill we looked at is down that way, currently on a waste rock pile. Up that way is a couple of mines we'll check out. Then there's also a mine straight ahead. There's a lot of greenery. Perhaps this was a reservoir. They just used all this waste rock to dam it up. So what would happen is, when there's a lot of snow, it'll melt down naturally, form a stream. So if they dam it all up, this will all become a pond if there's enough water. Then they got water for the mine. Then looking down, that's an ore chute right there. The remains of one, which is very uniquely built. They cut a bunch of barrels and that's how they built it. Maybe they had a wood shortage. And there's water coming out of this mine. I don't even think it's accessible. I just went through that stinging nettle. I didn't have much of a choice, which where I live it grows plentiful, so after you get struck by it enough you kind of get used to the sting. This is the mine. I'm definitely not going in there. If you're really encouraged you could dig it out per se, but it's just covered up. All this rock has slid down and covered the portal. So I'm now going to continue going up the canyon and see if there's any other mines. Continuing forward, I found some old rock houses. There really isn't much left of it. And then looking up waste rock pile, and that's a mine. There's a mine right there as well. We're going to have a look in. Continuing up this way, we got a cow, a rock house to the left of us, and a mine to the right of us. Portal was collapsed in for this mine. A few other cows up that way. Another rock cabin where the miners would have lived. This view gives us a great opportunity to look at all these waste rock piles, which have all mines on top of them. So we're going to check those out now. Quick pause on the safety equipment, because upon further inspection, this has been filled in, or collapsed in, I should say. Yeah, isn't that something? If there's one collapse at the portal, there's more going in. Let's continue up the mountain. Those mines on that side of the mountain we'll have a look at later on. Going up this way, I just had a look at all those mines, and they're all closed off. Coming up upon this one, which might yield some success because it has this significant waste rock pile, and see some surveying tape, some old wood. That's what I like to see, a portal that's made of rock, for some extra security. And going this way is this old structure. Perhaps an old workshop. Going up and through the portal, old wood timbers. Yeah, going through. Ground's a little wet. Have a collapsed in section. Some stoping to the left. Let's see. Yeah, that's not collapsed in. This is just a stoped out section with rotted wood. Looking down, then up, you could see daylight through the vertical shaft, open stope. And the mine continues with this whole section supported with timbering. Open stoping up there. Quickly cross that. Sections humid. Rock build up and reach the face. I found this blasted section that just looks like a crater almost. And it just goes down. Straight down into a mine. There's waste rock further up. Let's go up there. Another, I was gonna say vertical shaft, but that doesn't go anywhere. That one does. Doesn't go very far though. Then gotta have a quick view over the valley, looking up. We're almost at the top of the mountain. And I'm now hiking around it, and I'll continue looking for mines. I'm now at the top of the mountain, and I've been hiking along, and I found a few mines, but they were all closed off, and some of them just looked like prospect pits. So we got that down there to check out that mine. But there is one mine, which is a vertical shaft that I'm at right now. And it's really neat to see this. Just look how it's all flooded with green algae. Some nasty looking water. A flooded vertical shaft. And something else I noticed, which is really neat, is this rock buildup. That rock right there was stacked, which means there's perhaps an old cabin or miner's workshop or something, some type of old building right at this spot. There's also an old piece of wood right there with some metal scattered throughout, which is really the only place where you're building a building, just because look at around us. Just a straight up mountainside, no flat areas or nothing. And all this rock has a lot of quartz in it and mineralization. Even looking up this way, let's look at all that. So I'm now going to hike down and go to that mine. There's a couple mines next to that one, but the waste rock piles are so small, they look like prospect pits. That waste rock pile you see in the distance was the mine I wanted to look at, but it wasn't accessible. It was collapsed in. Looking up at that mountain, I looked at all the mines within that mountain. Those are the ones we just looked at. So we have one mine left on this mountain, and we're going to make our way back to the Monroe mine site and look at that other mountain that we haven't seen yet. And that one's covered in mines as well. So that dead end's going that way. Looking down, doesn't go anywhere. I didn't think this would go anywhere since there's not a lot of waste rock, but I still wanted to have a look because I like to see everything. I don't like to miss anything when I go to these abandoned places. Each abandoned mine I want to look at, and each abandoned spot. Thoroughly inspect them, per se. So now I'm going to go to the other side of this mountain, back to the Monroe mine site, see the other side of the mountain. This is just a small old miner's cabin made of rock. They really had to use whatever materials they had. And judging by the fact that there's really no trees nearby, and the trees in the distance are all small, so not really suited for wood, they really had to use whatever at hand. And in this area, that was rock, which is plentiful. I found something very interesting. An old mining claim. They would have the papers inside of that saying what year it's valid, who owns it, etc. So that's the mountain I'm looking at now. The mountain I'm on is the one we already looked at. Thoroughly looked at both sides. Then made our way over to the other mountain behind us. If you see that green indent right there that appears as a mine, that's the one we originally looked at with the overgrown infestation of stinging nettle that I decided to walk right through. And then above it is all those waste rock piles. All of those are mines. So let's go have a look at all those, and then that'll be it for the Monroe mine operation. Looking back at the mountain we had looked at initially, then we also looked at the other side of that mountain, and the mountain over past that one quite a bit. And on this side, there's a vertical shaft going down. a couple other mines, but they were all collapsed in. Old structure was right there. And all this cemented section was also a structure, likely a workshop. And when I'm saying workshop, I mean right there. What you're looking at right here almost looks like a mill. Maybe it's a mill, I'm not 100%. Really neat rock wall. So this is the Monroe mine operation. We just looked at everything in it, and some of the mines we looked at weren't actually part of it. Like when we went past this mountain, those were separate, but they're really unnamed mines. So I consider it all to be in relation. It likely was. Looking down, there's the mill we originally looked at. All those mines. Unfortunately, most of the mines were collapsed, which is to be expected for a mine operation as old as this one. This is it today. Be sure to subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Like, comment, and I'll see you next time.